Queensland's top police officer has admitted she feels sick, disgusted and upset by reports of detectives using crude slurs to describe domestic violence and sexual assault victims. Police Commissioner Katarina Carroll was questioned for hours about claims of a problematic culture within the police force at the Independent Commission of Inquiry into the Queensland Police Service responses to domestic and family violence after initially declining to give evidence. In an email sent to police last year, Carroll said she believed an inquiry was unnecessary and expensive because the perceived cultural issues were not widespread. Read more. Human remains found in suitcases identified as 2 children. Carroll later agreed to speak when she was told she would be summoned. "I think it's important that I do give evidence," she said on Sunday. Evidence heard during the inquiry detailed that one officer is under investigation for 2 posts made on police Facebook pages, which encouraged sexist and racist names for domestic violence victims. Another senior detective with 20 years' experience also submitted to the inquiry that 90% of sexual assault complaints were completely fabricated or the women have a misunderstanding of sexual assault. He said common complaints were women detailing they were too drunk to remember consenting, they feel sore so something must have happened, or they woke with no clothes on. "It's concerning, is it not, that one of your senior detectives would feel so comfortable addressing the commission that 90% of women who had made complaints were either lying or had misunderstood what had happened?" Counsel assisting the inquiry Ruth O'Gorman said. Read more. Serious deficiencies at Wagga Wagga Hospital after man dies post-knee surgery. "Think that's completely inappropriate and I think he misunderstands," Carroll responded. "For that officer to interpret that in that manner, I am deeply sorry. It's incredibly important that I call out bad behavior, that I give hope to the good people in the organization that things will change." After the murder of Doreen Langham last year, Carroll established a domestic violence command. But the inquiry heard that, a year on, the QPS media team has more staff than the command. The Domestic Violence Command uses other areas to get their strategic policy and strategic work done, Carroll said. Read more. Mum says murder teen trusted a monster, but if you just explain it like that, it is not a good look for the public to see that. Carroll attributed the lack of staff to poor resourcing, adding she had clearly articulated to Queensland Treasury that we are not coping in terms of the funds supplied to the organisation. The inquiry also heard a domestic violence training manual, years in the making, has been significantly delayed. Evidence was also given that a report detailing the prevalence of domestic violence within outlaw motorcycle groups was not passed on to the DV command. "I can't understand why that did not happen," Carroll said. When asked by 9 News how hearing slurs used by officers to describe women and sexual assault victims made her feel, Carroll answered she felt sick, disappointed and upset. A final report on the inquiry will be handed down in October.